Okay, so hello everyone. I hope everyone's doing fine, and we are live now and started the podcast. So, sir, starting the podcast with introduction. So, can you please introduce yourself?
Uh, Hi everyone, I'm Rizwan, and thanks Alish for having me. So I'm an educator. Basically, I was an engineer who basically changed that career to be an educator. Now I'm a podcaster and almost a full-time content creator. I work as a content creator for people. So
Hmm.
that's what I'm doing. And I'm also a podcaster. I run a podcast in Malayalam, which is the number one educational and self improvement podcast in Malayalam. It's called The Mallu Show.
Hmm.
Apart from that, I'm a speaker and mentor for people as well. So, yeah, that's who I am basically.
Fine. So, starting about my the first question I wanted to ask you is you are also doing podcast, right? So, what was your main motive behind starting a podcast channel?
You shared earlier with me, right? You saw Jay Shetty and you
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
start a podcast.
yeah,
So back in college, I'm an engineer,
yeah. Okay.
and like it takes 4 years.
Hmm.
From the second year itself, I knew that engineering was not my cup of tea. So
Hmm.
I wanted to opt out and do something else, but unfortunately, I couldn't. And the thing I was doing back then was getting out of call. Like I was never inside the class. I was always outside the class
Okay.
conducting different events. I was basically into events and managing different things. I was into
Okay.
everything. Whatever was there, I was into everything.
Hmm.
So my primary hobby, apart from being in events from college, is basically being in gym or any sports. So most of the time when people go to gym, we used to listen to music, but I was not, kind of fond of music
Okay.
in gym. Yeah. So mostly people listen to music, but
Hmm.
I used to listen to podcasts because that used to hook me up because I was into books and knowledge very long back, I would say. So
Okay.
that's my first exposure to podcast. And
Okay.
that was the time again, I was a big fan of On Purpose by Jay Shetty. So I
Okay.
had this plan in mind that, okay, one day I want to start a podcast in English. So that was there already in my mind. And back in 2019, I took a
Hmm.
break from social media.
Okay.
I planned to take it for 15 days, but it went on for like 6 months.
Oh,
And when I came back, I wanted to create videos. Like I wanted to be a
okay.
content creator or an educator, basically.
Okay.
And I started with that. And after
Okay.
some time, few months, I got introduced to a friend who was a podcaster
Okay.
in Malayalam, or he was doing Malayalam podcast. I never knew that Malayalam podcast existed.
Hmm.
So I was fascinated. And when I got to know more about it, I got to know, okay, there are like very less people who do podcast in Malayalam.
Yeah.
So I just decided, okay, I'm going to do a podcast. Uh, so I went on and decided, okay, I'm going to start podcast from next week. I started. I didn't know anything. So I just went on to start. So I had this
Okay.
urge, but
Hmm.
when some signs came into like some dots got connected, I just started.
Okay. You said like you just started. I'm at the exact place where you were earlier. So I had no idea what to do. I just started it because I was like delaying it, and I was just frustrated. Like, why am I doing this? Like, so I just started it.
Mhm. Hmm.
So that's the main motive.
Yeah, see, the thing is, I was always a very big perfectionist. I wanted, when you see all these big podcasters, whether it is like Jay Shetty, Logan Paul,
Hmm.
or like Louis House or whoever it
No.
is, they
Yeah.
all have this big setups, like fancy guests coming in and all of that.
Yeah.
What I realized is that you have to start at one point to reach somewhere, right? So
Yeah.
now even if you don't have an idea, I didn't have any clue, like any idea of how to even host or do something. Like I decided, okay, I think this week I decided announced that I'm gonna start a podcast next week. Then I went on
Okay.
YouTube, Google, I started searching, I started asking people how to do this and all that. I figured out, I learned like editing basic stuffs, and I went on
Okay.
and started doing it. So you eventually figure out, you just have to start creating episodes. Just take accountability. Okay, I'm going to do an episode every week and make sure that you
Yeah.
stick on to that. You put out
Hmm.
even if it's 30 seconds, you create an episode every week, and that creates a sense of accountability to yourself. And
Yeah.
that consistency is only what will teach you what you want to do or how you want to scale your podcast.
Yeah.
So that ultimately happens.
Guide people around mental health or something.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So you had studied that thing, or you just had a passion for that and you continued?
No, I basically like exactly don't guide people around mental health. I guide people around self growth and
Okay.
productivity and also
Okay.
relationships. So
Okay.
that's what I primarily focus on.
Hmm.
How I went into that is like I haven't studied like professionally into that. Now
Hmm.
I'm about to pursue psychology. But
Okay.
apart from that, I had a past where I went, like I said that, I've been off from social media for like 6 months and all that. So I had a past of struggling with mental health issues.
Okay.
So I was like into therapy and all of that for around a year. So back, it was from there I decided, okay, I want to share this to the world. Okay, there is this things out there because still it is a taboo, which is,
Yeah, it
people
is.
who don't talk about that.
Yeah,
So that's how it
nowadays,
started.
nowadays
Yeah.
people are like, just when you tell them that, yeah, bro, I'm not good, I'm just struggling with my mental health, they will like, it's all in your mind. There's nothing called like mental health. And right now in India,
Yeah.
we are at that state that people are not taking mental health seriously.
Yeah, I would say yes and no to that because
Okay.
again, slowly that has been changing.
Yeah.
A lot more people is understanding the
Hmm.
importance of that, and they've been, kind of changing
I
their
think
mind
we've
into
started realizing it
looking
after
into it.
COVID. Like everyone was in their home, so people started getting
Absolutely,
depressed and all.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Yes, the same thing, like, after like post COVID, the studies say that, we are seeing like crazy surge in the cases, especially with the mental health issues and especially with depression. But there are also like pros and like, good side to that, that people are realizing. And also there
Yeah.
is a bad side to that people are realizing is that as well.
Yeah.
The bad side being that every one of us right now is thinking that, okay, if I am not thinking that I'm doing well today, like if I feel low, if I feel burned out, I feel that I'm depressed. Or
Yeah.
like, if I am if I'm stressed, I feel I'm depressed. So
People
I
are,
I own
hmm,
yeah.
they're connecting
I
smaller
only
problems to
just
depression and
conclude.
anxieties.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I only conclude that I have this and that, and that ultimately creates more issues. So that's the
Uh,
problem. And most of the time, it's the mindset.
yeah.
And I don't like exactly treat people because I'm not certified to do that.
Okay.
And like also there is this one more thing that most of the people are again being entrapped is that people go to people who are not professionals, like
Yeah.
psychologists, psychiatrists, or
Hmm.
consultants who are certified to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not someone who does that. I'm just a mentor. Like I work around people, like startups, like some high performers or like business owners. So I work around
Okay.
those people and even students
Okay.
and like, people who struggle with productivity and managing things. I work around them, but I don't like work around mental health.
Okay. So like you have consulted few people, or like you started consulting offline or something?
Yes, I do consult
As
people.
I saw on your link tree, you have a place where you consult people, right?
Yeah, you can book. Like, there are like different type of consultation. I have started something called as 100K sessions where
Yeah.
uh, I'm there to interact with 100,000 people.
Okay.
So like for free. Okay,
Yeah, I
basically
saw
I just
that.
wanted to connect with people and just
Okay.
have a conversation around
Hmm.
whatever it is that they want to talk about. If there is something that I can help out with, I'll just help out. If not, I'll redirect them to the qualified people who are about to do that.
Okay.
Apart from that, there are some other kind of mentorships that I provide. Specifically, as I said, there are business owners or like high performers at sports or like studies, or who are into a lot of stress. I work around them personally as a mentor
Okay.
to train them with their mindset and their day-to-day life and help them with their productivity and their stress management and all of that.
Okay. So how did you started like getting interest in all these things? Like, as you said, you were in a depression phase for a few months. So that was the reason that you want to help people, or something else is the reason behind that?
I think my dad is my biggest inspiration, and ever since I know him, he's been always helping people,
Okay.
service minded. Still, even
Okay.
today, he's a service minded person. So
Hmm.
I've adopted that since my childhood, and growing up again, I was that same person growing alongside the dog, like my dad, trying to help people. I always had that mindset, and I always had this thing in my mind where I want to help people or do like in some way or the other, and I was always doing that since I ever remember. So that's how it started. And how I started as a content creator is again basically I knew that I wanted to do something, but I didn't know what it was. But
Okay.
once I realized, okay, as I was going through this journey, but again, it was not depression. I was like facing. I used to think I was having depression,
Okay.
but when I diagnosed, I understood that it was grief and anxiety issues,
Okay.
and I understood that okay, it is not just me. There are like n number of people who are struggling with lot of issues alongside me, whether it is my friends, relatives, family, whoever it is. So I
Hmm.
just wanted to help them out initially, because I wanted to make sure that, okay, they at least know that, these things are true. That was the only
Okay.
intention I had. That's how I started. So
Okay.
that is from there, the journey has evolved. Initially it was
Yeah.
just awareness. Then I started explore more,
Okay.
and speak with people like psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors, trainers, and all of that
Okay.
thing. Then I started a podcast that gave me more opportunity to reach out to more people, bring them
Yeah.
on, have conversations, gain more
Hmm.
knowledge, and that's how it started.
Okay. Fine. And talking about the Mallu show, right? You started it like how many years ago? Like few months ago? Or?
No, I started back in last April.
Okay, last
Yeah,
April.
last April,
Until now, you
April,
have
May.
completed 67 episodes, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, like, what was the starting? Like, how was it? Like, you just ended up doing it, or it was a whole planning or something?
No, I never do things planned. I'm always
Okay.
like a, jump first, think second guy. Like I
Okay.
always jump in, then I figure out, okay, okay, jumped in, I want to do this, now I will do it. So
Okay.
it's just that, never figure out something, because, if you plan so much, there will be never a point where you will feel like, okay, I'm done enough planning. You have
Okay.
to start doing, like, it's basically only then you will have that, okay, I've started now, that fire within you. Okay, I've started now what? So you have, like, I think that's something that helped me a lot,
Okay.
because a lot of planning ultimately keeps everything in the box itself, but it's always better started than, you know it's always better to have like one started
Yeah.
project
Something
than
than nothing.
10 plan project, or something than nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And as you told, people bring like there are many fancy guests in the podcast, but in your podcast, I've seen there are normal people, but as much as I saw that there are normal people in your podcast. So how did you get with that idea? Let's bring normal people into it.
The thing is, I've had all kind of people.
Okay.
People, I believe not in numbers, because as far as I have understood, is that I have a good following and all
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
various platforms. I agree with that. But what I've observed is that, there is always more quality when people do content, or people share their knowledge, if there are no numbers.
Okay.
There are good people around us, if you look around, who are inspirations way beyond all the most of the influential peoples we think of. So I have learned so much from a lot of people around me. So I
Okay.
always wanted to give a platform for those people to
Yeah.
come on in and share their wisdom, share their knowledge to the world. So
Okay.
that is the common factor I have, because we always look around, okay, this person, that person. No, everyone
Okay.
is having a story. Everyone has a story. You have a story.
Yeah.
I have a story, and every story really matters. And there could be at least one person who would benefit from that story. So
Yeah.
that was the whole point. So, and
Okay.
again, there is this one more thing. As I said, there are all kind of guests. There were people who are having like crazy, like, like who are like celebrities as well.
Yeah.
So when going forward, there obviously they will also look for, it should be a win-win. So they also need numbers.
Yeah.
So when you bring in normal people as well, they ultimately want to say, okay, you have done like 50 episodes, 40 episodes, whoever it is, they just want to see something over there. Okay,
Hmm.
something is happening. And ultimately, everything is a compound effect. So you want to basically create a sense of, you know, uh, like a feeling that, okay, you do something consistently, and that really
Hmm.
matters. And if apart from that, people are good, like there are genuinely good people, you can just
Hmm.
approach them, and they ultimately will give you something. You just ask
Uh,
and you get it.
Talking about approach, right now, if I say I've approached more than 100 people, and
Okay.
I've got like three replies, probably three.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember, initially I have sent again, hundreds of cold emails
Yeah.
to people, fetch out their emails and send.
Even I sent you
And,
cold emails, but you replied me on Instagram. That was like unpredictable that you wanna reply there.
yeah, I saw your email after I replied back on Instagram.
Okay.
The thing is, like with me, I reply to anyone who texts me back. Okay. Like the thing is, if they're spending like their 1 minute, 2 minute of that time to just say something, and if I'm not showing the value, I'm not that kind of a busy person. I can at least send, a thank you message for that, or
Yes.
redirect them to email.
Yeah.
So I do that. And after that, I saw your email. So that is why I didn't reply over to your email.
Yeah.
And again, I remember one Sunday I sat and, I did type in, hand typed uh, 24 or 25 customized emails for 25 people,
Okay.
and only two of them responded. One of them did an episode, but I was the happiest person back then because I got at least one person.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
that's okay, because that really says how passionate you are. And
Yes.
after all of the rejections, even if you're still getting something, that shows,
Yeah.
okay, that's a learning point. Okay, how did that 24 emails fail? Where could I have made it better? So
Yes.
that's again a learning something. So yeah,
At
it's a
that
good start,
moment,
I would
when I
say.
was checking your DM, like I was the happiest, so I got a reply. That was unexpected. I'm just DMing everyone and I'm just emailing them. Like, for example, if they see like by chance, so that was very unexpected and like, I was very happy at that moment.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, obviously, it's very difficult to go through all the
Yeah, there are a
DMs and
lot
all
of
that, but
DMs, so that's not possible.
yeah, but still, I feel that it's okay. Like it's possible to basically reach out or redirect them to the
Yeah.
the channel where you can have conversation. It's possible. Yeah,
So
it's
right now,
okay.
is someone managing you or like you are only managing all your
No, no,
accounts?
no, no. I don't want. The thing is, like, I've got enough requests for the managing things, but I
Yeah.
don't take it because uh, I want, if someone is messaging me to my account,
Yeah.
I want a message. If at all I'm replying someone, it should be me, because if
Hmm.
someone is typing me in for me, that is not my emotions, my values that has been shared.
Yes.
So I want that. So it's just me, purely me, completely. That is be managing everything.
Okay, that's fine. Talking about like I saw your when I opened your link tree, there was a talk you went on Joe's show. So what was that
Yeah.
experience like? Like when they approached you, how are you feeling like and all?
That was a very unexpected moment.
Okay.
They approached me. Okay, like, we wanted to have you on Josh Talks. So will you be interested? I was like, hell yeah, because it's like something uh, everyone look forward to.
Yes, yes, yes.
And that was like quite an experience because once I was at a phase of my life in 2019, mid 2019, where I wanted to like end my life. I was
Oh,
at that phase, and from there, when I stood there in front of that dais, in front of the mic and everything, I could literally see my whole life, in that blank screen. So let's come pitch black. And when I look around, I couldn't see anything, but I could see my life, just playing the whole back. So
okay.
it's
That
it
was
was
a
such
out of
a
the world feeling.
absolutely, it was such a feeling.
Okay.
That's when I thought, okay, there is still a lot more. There is like a
Okay.
lot of hope yet to be found and to be shared as well. So it was like a very good, mesmerizing experience for me.
Okay. As you said, you are an engineer. So where did you do your engineering from? Which college?
I did it from Mangalore,
Okay.
Karnataka,
Okay.
from Mangalore Institute of Technology and Engineering. I'm a
Okay.
computer science engineer,
Okay.
uh, and just by degree. But I love coding. The thing is, I used to love coding
Okay.
because I wanted to be a game developer. But little did I know that, game developing is not only about coding. I
Hmm.
thought it was about coding completely. And I went on to take computer science.
Even I
And
am
I
doing
thought,
my
okay,
BCA.
I'm not saying it's like a bad
Uh,
feel or something. It's like a very
hmm.
good, it's a very good stream,
Yeah.
been a very good stream, and even now it's a good thing because technology is evolving day by
Yeah.
day. There are new things coming in, whether it
Yes.
is AI, VR, like crypto, blockchain, whatever it is. There are so many things technologically we are advancing day by day,
Hmm.
and it's like a huge stream to get into and develop or to learn in as well. But the
Okay.
thing is, it was not for me because for everyone there are some things that they are good at or they would be happy doing it. I was not happy then because of so many reasons. Because I'm a completely problem solver. Problem solver
Yes.
rather than kind of someone who takes something and keep it with myself. Like, I'm not into by hearting things. I can't do that.
Okay.
So when I went on to engineering, I had expectations of, yeah, I would be solving a lot of problems, uh,
Hmm.
doing a lot of coding and all that. But it was just the opposite. It was a lot of theory and less practicals. So I was not someone who could
Even I'm
accustom to
facing
that.
the same problem. I came with very high expectations.
Yeah, I know. So that's when I decided, okay, this is not something I want. I'll do something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you are a mental health coach or like you guide people around that. So talking about like right now there are many people like most of the people are tensed over something or the other thing. Like people takes there's a little thing that's gonna take too much of stress. So that's
Hmm.
also a thing like we can talk about something.
Yeah, the thing around that is, we are a generation of people who spend most of their days or most of their time around social media,
Yes.
right? And we see a lot of no, like we see a lot of content, a lot of data is being kind of taken into our
Yes.
self our
Yeah.
brain every single day.
Yeah.
And it's kind of we are saturated by the end of the day
Hmm.
because of so many things, with so many things, even though we don't consciously try to learn so many
Hmm.
things, we learn a lot of things. And especially we see a lot of stuff around these things. If
Yeah.
you go to social media, you see, especially these days, the content around mental health or self development or something is too much. It's a lot,
Yeah.
right? So when you see that, you get to see in most of the place, okay, you see this, you said that, you see most of the things we all have in common,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that we all have the same issues,
Yes.
right? But we think, because it's a general thing that, okay, we see something and we believe, okay, we will relate that to us because we're always trying to protect us. We're always alert, our brain is always alert to protect us.
Okay.
So when that happens, we feel, okay, this is there with me. I have been going through this. Okay, whether I have depression, whether I'm having this particular thing, whether
Yeah.
I'm having anxiety issues, whether I'm burned out, I'm not having an idea about that. And the main reason for that is, again, as we are not accustomed to talk about these things publicly, whether it is our
Yeah.
parents at school or something, we don't
Yeah.
have a mechanism or a system to do that. We
Hmm.
feel that and we try to treat ourselves. We will believe these things. Okay, we'll feel, okay, these people are talking about it. Okay, they know something. Maybe it's because of that, and we believe them. And
Yeah.
because of that, we feel these are the things and we believe that. That's the main issues. Like, it's about the content consumption that is having, like infinite content consumption that is having, or biased content consumption. So what we have to ultimately do is, again, you have to keep a balance between the content you consume and also have a control over from where and which source you are consuming the content.
Yeah.
You have to check the credibility of the channels or of the accounts, their, like, how they have been doing, what kind of content they do. You'll see a pattern.
Yeah.
And if that is not something that you want, and again, you also have to think before you adapt something into your life. Not
Okay.
everything might be applicable or relatable for you, because if we are two people,
Yeah.
we all have two different lives. If I say
Yes.
something, that might not be applicable to you based on the context that you live in. It might be
Okay.
based on my perspective. So you have to think first. You have to filter out what knowledge you're taking in, or what advice you're taking in, or what
Okay.
feedback you're taking in, from whom you're taking in.
Yeah.
And only then you have to think, like, apply that. So basically, it's about control and being conscious and filtering the things that you want to take in and which you want to basically consume, or you want to basically apply into your life. And only then it will be fine, it will be sorted. Otherwise, you'll always
Okay.
be a victim
You know
of
what I think?
content.
What I think? There are like lot of pages that are providing motivational content, and in the name of motivation, they are changing people's mind. Like you have to wake up at 5, you have to go take cold showers to be successful. You need to work out like every day. Working out is a different topic. Like that's important. Yeah, I understand. But there are many pages who are just brainwashing us that yeah, you have to be alpha, you have to be sigma, and all.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Motivation is another thing. It's okay to go through those pages because sometimes some words might hit you. Okay,
Yeah.
but that's okay. But apart from that, there are some basic stereotypes that has been said, as you said, like alpha, sigma, and all of
Yeah.
that, or waking up at like 5 o'clock, four
Yeah.
o'clock. Those are good habits. Those are habits, not
Okay.
a manual to live life. If
Okay.
you want, or if that is something that would fit into your life,
Yeah.
you can adopt that.
Yeah.
Well and good. Waking up early is good, you'll get enough time. Reading
Yeah.
a book is good, you'll get enough knowledge. Working out is good, you will be healthy. All
Yeah.
of these are good. But that necessarily doesn't mean you have to do it in the same way,
Yeah.
because, as I said, we are not living exact same life. For
Yeah.
example, you are in your hostel right now,
Yeah, yeah,
most of the people who will be listening to this podcast will be teenagers.
yeah.
And the thing is, over here again, most of the people will be in colleges, might be in schools as well,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So we'll be seeing these things, and it's always good to have high hopes, high dreams, high spirits.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we shouldn't compare, like, okay, this is exactly, or we shouldn't take it exactly from that. That is what exactly I said. I've made that mistake back in like back in my teenage. I was
Okay.
again, fascinated by all these people who are doing good, whether it is like fitness
Yeah.
wise, however it is. And I wanted to achieve a particular physique of that kind, or like
Okay.
I
Yeah.
wanted to wake up at 4, wake up at 5. Those are good
Mm.
habits, but that worked at that time for me. But later I like recognized the fact that okay, I can incorporate many good habits or many different systems that would fit into my life, that I would need personally to enrich my life, to grow in life, and to be successful as
Yeah.
how I define success
Yeah.
in my own way. And
Okay.
that is the first point, again, as a teenager, that we have to understand. You, it's your time, where you have to enjoy, you have to have fun,
Yeah.
right? Most of the time I've seen, in especially in my brothers and cousins, who are younger than me, is basically because of all this extent of knowledge that is available,
Mm,
abundant of
yeah.
knowledge that is available, we are way mature. Like,
Yes.
you are way mature. If you're doing a podcast at 19 about this topics, you're way mature
Hmm.
than how we used to be, right? I'm
Yeah.
not saying I'm an old person, I'm just 25. uh,
Okay.
than we used to be, right? And there is
Okay.
a reason for that. It's the content that is available, the data that is
Yeah.
available,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that is again taking away most of your like, I would say, fun time sometimes, right? If you think about it, you'll be like so serious about
Possibly
studies,
right now, if I tell
business.
you I'm having a Garba night at my college, but I'm sitting here today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like so focused. I'm not saying it's wrong, but you
Yeah.
have to find a
Yeah.
balance, or you
Yeah.
have to have fun. Even now, I am so occupied with so many things, right? I
Yeah.
have multiple things that goes on in my mind,
Yeah.
whether it is a content, I run multiple podcasts, whether it
Yeah.
is a creation of, I post every single day something. So there are
Yes.
so many planning. I work at a place again as a content creator, as a podcaster,
Yeah.
as a producer, and all that.
Yeah.
So there are so many things. And I am so serious, but I make sure that okay, I have fun in my own way.
Yeah.
But what I'm again observing in my younger generation, my brothers and sisters, is that again, they're way mature and they're having less fun, which
Yeah.
ultimately is creating more burnouts at way early stages. They're too focused on whether, let's say, their business or something. They're
Yeah.
having health issues. They're facing a lot of troubles mentally, physically, socially, emotionally. And
Yeah.
that is something we need to fix as well.
Yeah. We are adopting hustle culture faster than any other thing.
Absolutely.
People are like, just okay, we just gonna work, and there's a common trend between teenagers right now that we're gonna work till 30 and we'll retire till 35. That's a stereotype formed by the internet right now.
Mm.
Everyone
Yeah, I
wants to
think
get
that's the
retired by
worst culture
35.
again to follow.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the worst culture again to follow, like retiring at 35. There is nothing wrong, because I feel that if your life is empty of things to do,
yeah.
if your life is empty of problems to solve, you will feel empty. There will be always a void. You
Okay.
want money, you want status, you want fame, you want growth, whatever. It's all fine and good.
Yeah,
But if I say something from my life, I also wanted to achieve, some place, and I was pounding myself day by day to do some. Then
okay.
I realized it's always about sustainability.
Yeah,
It's not about how fast you get something, it's about how long can you sustain in the
yeah.
game, whether it is podcasting, whether it is
It's all
business,
about
whether it is
consistency,
life.
basically.
Yeah, it's about constancy. Like,
Yeah,
if you are just here to run a 100-meter race,
yeah,
you will stop after the 100-meter race. But if you're here to run a marathon, it's a long run.
yeah.
You are there running for a long time, and you will make
Hmm.
most out of it. I think
Okay.
you might have seen this movie Rush. I don't know if you have seen the movie Rush.
No,
There is this
I
movie
haven't.
of F1, like it's about the story of two F1 riders, like
Okay,
racers, and
okay,
one of that person is more of a sustainable person. He wanted to stay there and be the best of that. But one person, he just wanted to prove himself that he can do something. He does that
okay,
once and he quits. But the other person, he stay there for a long time, and that really matters. Staying in the
okay.
game is what really matters. It's
Yeah,
always a compounding effect that happens. Is
okay,
that how
fine.
that how it is?
Hmm. We'll just start with the question and answer round.
Okay.
So there are a few
All right. All right.
questions which the audience has asked you. So I'll just go with that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so the first question is from Srihari Annie. She is asking you, why is your username Riz Mango? She says that she knows you are sweet, but is there any other reason for that?
Like the reason for why it is Rizmango is because I have tried at least 20 names in very short span of time initially, because I wanted something again short and catchy and something that would be easy to be remembered as well, because my name is too long. Rizwan Ramzan Ahmad it is. So I wanted something short. So what I did was like, okay, just flip the M. I just somehow came across this term, but when I realized, okay, like when you flip the W in Rizwan, it'll be M and it'll be
Yeah,
Rizman, right? And if you just flip the M over there, it'll be like Rizwan Go in Rizman Go. So like
yeah,
something that is kind of a motivation or like something like a slogan for me, like Rizwan Go, like something like that.
yeah,
Also, it's a conversation starter. Like every time, most of the time, when someone asks like, "What's your Insta ID?" It's like it's Rizmango. It's like, why is it Rizmango? Or like when someone texts me, they also text like, why is your username like Rizmango? Or do you work for like this RJ or like something like that? So it's a conversation starter. Also, it's interesting to hear as well.
any
So
win-win
that's was the
situation for
reason.
you.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. We'll start. We'll go for the second question. It's like there's Jarvis who's asking you how to build a confidence level.
Okay, so building confidence level is all about experience or getting out of your
Maybe
comfort
we
zone,
can
basically, I
say
would say.
trying new things.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There is this motto that I believe in. There is this YouTube channel. I don't know if you know about it. Yes Theory.
Okay.
So their motto, their slogan is seek discomfort. So it says that the most beautiful thing in life is outside your comfort zone, and I truly believe in that. And whatever I do, I've been doing the same thing, trying to do the same thing. So how to build confidence? I believe that the most important factor to build confidence is to get out of your comfort zone, to try things that, suppose, let's say, scares you, or that you're not comfortable with, to basically experience that and
Okay.
understand what is the maximum, and from that you grow. So apart from that,
Okay.
and for that to happen again, there are different things that you can try apart from that. For example, keeping up with the promises that you have made with yourself, which is
Yeah.
again very important, because being confident is also about being trustworthy. And
Yeah.
first and foremost, you have to be trustworthy to be to yourself as well, isn't it? So
Hmm.
when you think about that, if you have made any promises, for example, let's say I'll be working on myself to read a book in a month or something like that, keep up with the promises, because if you don't do that, you will not trust yourself. You'll be like, okay, like I'll commit to this. I've
Hmm.
been like that, I'll commit to this and all that, I'll just quit midway. So in the same way, you have to commit with it with yourself, and make sure that you keep up the promises that you make up with yourself. And also other things, like there are simple things like uh, grooming yourself or working on your body,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
physical appearance and all that, gaining more knowledge, reading, writing, all of that, improving your strengths along with your weaknesses are also something that would help you improve your
Hmm.
confidence as well. So all
Hmm.
these things ultimately come together, but most importantly, get out of your comfort zone and understand what is the maximum that will happen if something is there, and that is the most important thing.
Okay. The next question is by Manak Chawla. He's asking you how to get small learning for the students who are studying outer or a different city.
I think internet is like an ocean, not even an ocean, maybe ocean of oceans. There are so many
Yeah.
fields which are ocean,
Hmm.
and it's like internet is the holder of all that.
Yeah.
So there are so many options that we can all try out. Like for example, if you take just freelancing, there are n number of opportunities to
Yeah.
think of as a freelancer, or
Yeah.
even content creation is there, or even let's
Hmm.
say training someone. If you have a skill, you can monetize that, maybe create
Hmm.
courses, workshops, or something like that.
Yeah.
So like there are plenty of options. You just have to understand what you're good at and try to leverage that skill of yours to make money. Maybe you can start with the closest of the people, and from there you can, once you have enough experience to make sure that, okay, you can help others as well, you just use that knowledge and experience to make it better, or the scale what you are doing. So I would say, like, start small from your own surroundings, your own known people and all that, then eventually scale it up to the people, so that you
Yeah.
can help them as well as you can earn them as well.
Yeah.
Or even, like, if you are like a college or a school student, if possible, your time permits, can try out tuitions. Tuitions are like one of the easiest way to earn money,
Yeah.
or to try as a side income while you're learning, because you can also improve your learning skills as well as teaching skills as well, which will definitely help you improve your confidence, your speaking,
Yeah.
your communication skills, and all of that as well.
Okay. So the next question is from Raj. He's asking you like, hello. He's telling you to recommend any three movies.
Okay, so any three movies in any, like
Yeah,
any
any
random
three
movies?
movie. Yeah, any three movies.
Okay, so recently there is this movie that I really loved. That is like, I've been watching a lot more of romantic
Mm-hmm.
genre like
Yeah.
recently. So I would say like 5 Feet Apart, Call Me by Your Name, or Me
Okay.
Before You. All these are like something that will that really, Her is one thing that I've been recommending most of the people since last week, especially
Okay.
when it comes to the relationship part.
Okay.
It'll help you understand more about in and outs of like how you fall into a relationship or something like that. Her is
Okay.
one. Apart from that, I would definitely suggest mm Ye Jawani Ye Diwani, like from Bollywood, like Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. Lakshya is another like one of
Yeah.
my recent favorites. Greatly inspiring. And some other, if I'm a Malayali, I'm coming from Kerala,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
there are like some comical movies that I really love. For example, like Sedi Musa or like Misha Madhavan. These are some things like which are extremely funny. Those were
Okay.
made in early 2000s, which are like still evergreen kind of you can
Yeah.
think of.
Yeah.
And some some, what else would I suggest? Okay, yeah, Forrest Gump from English, I would say.
Yeah. Forrest Gump is a
And
fantastic
Rush
movie.
is there. Yeah, Rush is there.
Okay.
Like like story of F1 racers and all of that. And there is this Hacksaw Bridge is one movie like that will show you, like how you can, even if you don't have the best of the physical appearance, like physical self, you can still change or save millions or thousands of lives as well. Hacksaw Bridge is like one of the craziest movies that have impacted me so much, in a way that it taught me, okay, it's like a movie where a soldier who's extremely thin saving hundreds of people in a war. So
Oh.
it's like a real true story, and it's a depiction of that. Andrew
Okay.
Garfield is the actor in that, and it's a beautiful movie. So it's like one good recommendation to watch on.
Okay.
I think I only remember this, and I'm not like a very big movie buff. I prefer to binge on, let's say, YouTube videos or something that would help me gain something of my
Okay.
interest. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the next question is from Sakshi. She's asking you to recommend her a book in the self-help category, and she's a new reader.
Start with small books, like very small books, and don't stick on with self-help books,
Okay.
because the thing I found out about the self-help book is if you read 100 self-help books, you will find the same thing in all 100 books.
It's just
You don't
round and said in a different
Yeah,
way.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'd prefer be very selective about reading self-help books, rather
Okay.
read fictional books, or even I would say read autobiographies and memoirs as well, because those are
Okay.
the two things which are again self-help or non-fiction, but would ultimately give you a lot more by the time you invest to read something.
Okay.
For example, the recent my favorites, one of the favorites were like Shoe Dog
Okay.
is one very must read for anyone who's trying to follow a passion. Something, it's a huge book, but don't start reading with Shoe Dog. Start reading with something very small, extremely small. For example, there is this book by Greta Thunberg. I don't know, if you know Greta Thunberg,
No, I haven't heard it.
like this environmentalist who made a lot of sound. This small girl, she wrote a book
Okay.
called as No One Is Too Small to Make a Difference. That is like one great book, very short, and that is like one day read you can try out.
Okay.
And maybe even try like start reading self-help short stories. There are so many short story like collections you can try out.
Okay.
Apart from that, everyone suggests Alchemist or like Monk Who Sold His Ferrari and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good reads to start with.
Okay.
uh, and
Even if she
if
wants to start with a self-help book, there is a book called The Power of Positive Attitude. It's a small book and a
Okay.
very sweet book. Like she can finish it off within like few weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And even I would say, start reading skill like books that will teach you skills. For example,
Okay.
Dale Carnegie's How to Influence and Influence People,
Yeah.
or this book. 90, I think 92 little tricks for improving, your conversation, something like that. There is this book.
0 to
So
1.
start, no, not 0 to 1 is like, I think, yeah, it's a good read, but I think it's not for a beginner or to start with. Start
Okay.
with simple books or
Yeah.
any books, I would say. Even start reading fiction. I would say start reading more autobiographies. Wings
Okay.
of Fire is a good one. You can try out. Even Educated is another by Tara Westover. You can try out.
Okay.
Right now, I'm reading The Catcher in the Rye, which is also an autobiography. It's a beautiful read, just around
Okay.
200 pages. Great story. It's also a
Okay.
nice read, I would suggest.
Okay. So which is your
Yeah.
favorite autobiography book?
Oh, I can't say which is my favorite and which is not, because every book has something different.
Okay.
And I haven't read a lot of books. Hardly, I don't know, I don't even remember the numbers. So I've read enough, but still, I wouldn't categorize which is my favorite book. But I would say Shoe Dog is
Two
one
dog.
good read. Yeah,
Okay.
it's one good read. It's
Like
very
what is it
close to
all
my heart.
about?
It's like, Nike, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about the story of how Nike was found.
Okay.
It's like entirely like, how he started, where you taking an inspiration. If you are an aspiring entrepreneur or an entrepreneur or an artist or a passion follower, someone who is working on yourself, this is like the read I would suggest for anyone. Yeah, it's like an amazing read. It's like there is like travel in that. There are struggles, there are victories, and there are every bits and pieces of what you need to understand about details of
Okay.
entrepreneurship or a journey of that. So it's like a
Okay.
raw depiction of that book. Beautiful read, highly recommended.
Okay.
But still, I wouldn't categorize that as my most favorite book. But right now, I think that is one thing that I would suggest based on the context that we're discussing.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the next question is like is a boy is asking about meditation. So he's asking you, are you into the practice of meditation? And if yes, any tips for beginners how to start meditating?
Yes, I'm not like a daily meditator, but I'm planning
Okay.
to, because
Okay.
I have just started like a new challenge, 100 days of sweat and meditation, working out and
Okay.
meditating 100 days.
Okay.
So I really want to, get more into that. But yes, I
Okay.
do meditate, not very frequently, but often.
Okay.
Basically, just to calm myself down and
Mm.
to make sure that I'm having my silent time away from things and all that. And if you ask me as a beginner, I would still think that I'm a beginner in that. But
Okay.
for beginners who are yet like who want to start meditation, just start with sitting around, because if you have this perception of meditation is basically going into a different zone, I think that is not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like we are not yogis or
Hmm.
like that, like who have been sitting for like hundreds or like years under a
Yeah.
tree. We are not that. We don't have that much of concentration.
Yeah.
Just being at place and letting your thoughts wander and being aware of the place is enough
Yeah.
for to meditate. And that's exactly, I think, even pro meditators do. Like,
Yeah.
I've heard Jay Shetty say, like, they meditate for 2 3, like I think 2 or 3 hours every day.
Yeah.
Jay Shetty and Radhika.
Yeah.
So, like, still they feel like, okay, their thoughts wander around and come back. So it's basically not about being in a trance, rather than being aware of where your
Yeah.
thoughts are going
Yeah.
and your surrounding as well. So
Like
that is what I
we
would say.
cannot
Just sit
control the
idle.
mind. We can just like get back to the focus.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
just focus on, like, let your thoughts wander. There are different types of meditation as well. There is
Hmm.
like this
Hmm.
chanting, mantra meditation is there.
Yeah.
Like there are like chakra meditation is there. Are so many different
Hmm.
types of meditation. Try something very different. Just, even sitting 10 minutes idle at a place without your phones, gadgets, and just focusing on your breathing is also meditation.
Yeah.
So just try with that and slowly increase it. Like start with 10 minutes and then 15, then 20. Slowly just get
Okay.
along with that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So there is a boy who's saying, "Sir, I am addicted to a very bad habit." So he's saying he has mentioned a smoking emoji. So he's
Okay.
trying to quit it, but he's unable to because of his surrounding. So what should he do?
I think, yes, that's a very difficult situation to be, especially when the
Yeah.
surrounding is also that kind of inspires you to do
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
First thing, which is again easy for me to say, but difficult for him to execute,
Yeah.
switch the surrounding, find excuses to change your surrounding.
Yeah.
If it is the surrounding you meant is basically your friends, change
Hmm.
friends. Simple as
Yeah.
that. Cut down those people and stop hanging out with them. Or even not even that is needed. I would say from the experience that you don't even have to cut the people. You just have to say that, okay, I'm not going to like
Yeah.
smoke
You
or
just
like do
have to
this
refuse
thing.
them.
Yeah, you just have to refuse
Hmm.
yourself and say that, okay, I'm from tomorrow, I'm like quitting this or something like that. Maybe that will
Okay.
also it might be very difficult because sometimes the peer pressure might be very difficult.
Yeah.
So during then it's you have to control yourself if you
Yeah.
want to like quit that. So ultimately you have to take a decision and ultimately you have to stick on with that. But if possible, if it is okay, like you try to convince them that you don't want to do that, or like if your friends, whatever the surrounding is, that if that is not possible, try to change your surrounding.
Okay. So we are now done with the question and answer round. What's the story behind Connect?
The story behind Connectory is, it happened along a span of I would say like around 5 to 6 months.
Okay.
Not even that, or almost like I would say even 1 year. So I used to run this program called as 21 Days of Getting Closer, where I help people. For
Okay.
21 days, I run sessions every day at night. We discuss on different aspects and we work on things. Like we write down things, we understand ourselves better, our thoughts, our process, and all of that, which
Okay.
again have been, something that I've been thinking to bring back.
Hmm.
So, like in the second edition of that, what happened was that there were 28 people and
Okay.
we were having a great time in that. And once that was ended, after 21 days, we got a suggestion from the WhatsApp group of those people that, okay, what if we again start like a reading challenge or something? So then it was by a friend of mine who is currently a co-founder of Connectry again.
Okay.
So we thought, okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's start with something like, okay, we read a book every month. We choose a book every month and we read. So from that, that thought came out. And what happened ultimately, we thought, okay, if we are doing it, let's say, okay, if others also want to do it, let them also be a part of that. So,
Okay.
we expected 10, 15 people to join and we just announced that. But it was just two people, I and this Azhar, who is like my friend, the co-founder. With
Okay.
just two of us thinking, okay, we'll just run this, or like we'll just help 10, 15 people to read a book every month. We
Okay.
just announced on social media. And and what happened ultimately was overnight, almost 200 people joined, 170,
Oh.
180 people joined to the group. And we were like,
Okay.
oh, now what we do? Like we didn't have a clue. And
Unexpected
uh,
response.
unexpected response from, so all of a sudden we have to think of, okay, creating this as a new thing, right? It
Okay.
was till then it was just 21 days of getting closer WhatsApp
Okay.
group. From then we wanted to again, like from there it was like everything changed. Okay, this is going to be different. This is not going to be that. And we changed it. The names came, like Connectory was founded, and we brought in the volunteers to work in. So now we have a core team of 10 people, which is again still growing. I think
Hmm.
it'll be,
Yeah.
I think it'll be 13 in few days. So we're
Okay.
again, bringing in more volunteers. We are taking the
Okay.
interviews and all that.
Okay.
So that is how Connectory happened. That's the story behind Connectory. So now there are more than 350 people on WhatsApp,
Okay.
based under the community, and
Okay.
more than 600 plus people on Instagram who like follow us and basically be there in our processes
Interact
as
with
well.
you.
Yeah, exactly. So what
Okay.
is Connectory? Connectory is a community basically. It's a safe space. I wouldn't even say a community. It's a safe space. It's a home for people to come and be themselves. So
Okay.
we want to make being nerd cool. We want to make
Hmm.
education and intellectual cool. So that's what
Yeah.
exactly what we do. We talk about
Okay.
books, philosophies,
Okay.
maths, economics,
Hmm.
history, politics, everything we speak. And it's all about a place where anyone and everyone can be and grow, like help each other grow in life. So,
Okay.
we see that, anything like, for example, if you want a job, we see posts like, okay, is there any opening for this? There are people to help there. So it's basically about connecting people from all over the world, be there and help each other, to network with each other, and
Okay.
to basically spread their wings and their knowledge all around the world. So we have people from different countries and also
Okay.
mostly from India as well, pan
Okay.
India. And yeah, so that's exactly what Connectory is. And we do
Okay.
different activities every month.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt, but I had a question. Like, how did the name happen? Connectory.
Okay, so we all had this thought, okay, we want all these different topics to be discussed, or different elements of the world or the subjects we have to discuss to be there. But we want all of that to be connected at one place. So like I
Okay.
had this vision, okay, it has a root where everything is connected, but it has also like all this diversity. So our tagline
Okay.
is connecting diversity.
Okay.
Okay. connecting through diversities. So that
Okay.
was like the motto what we had, and ultimately like we were playing around, and one of my friend who
Okay.
were again in the group, she
Okay.
suggested, okay, I think I suggested like tree of connection, something like that I bought in, and she just changed that, flipped it, and like, what if we make it like connect tree? And so like, okay, yeah, it's short, it's nice, so we'll
Yeah.
stick with that. So that's how connect tree,
Okay.
the name came in. Yeah.
Okay. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So I've recently heard about it, or I've read somewhere that we sleep, right? So we sleep in phases. So there are four
Mhm.
phases of we sleep. Like we sleep light, deep, dream, like the time we dream, and again light sleep. So I've heard that if you sleep in these four phases, like you will be more fresh. Like if a person is
Okay.
sleeping 5 hours, but he's sleeping in 90 minute phases, so he's gonna be more fresh than the person sleeping in 8 hours. So like, you have any idea about this?
I have done a research long back. I
Okay.
think, yeah, in the beginning of this year, there is this book called as "I Know What to Do, but Why Don't I Do It?" Okay, there is
Okay.
this beautiful book. It's an
Okay.
amazing book. It's again a highly recommended book. There is a
Okay.
beautiful discussion of sleep entirely, not just
Okay.
sleep, your energy levels, your motivation, and everything. So
Okay.
in that, I don't know much about the sleep cycles.
Okay.
I think the circadian cycles, the different cycles.
Mhm.
But yes, I've heard about this. Like, but in that book also there is this mentioning stating that, okay, if you sleep early, like,
Mhm.
and the deep sleep it happens in different steps and different cycles. So it
Okay.
takes time for you to get into different cycles, and your
Hmm.
biological clock, the I think, is it the what is your biology? I think, yeah, it's the melatonin, I guess, or the melanin. I think the
Okay.
melatonin.
No
Okay,
problem.
or the pineal gland. Okay, something is there. I forgot that. Sorry,
No
pardon me.
problem. Hmm.
So this gland is there, which is a biological clock of yours. It basically regulates it, and it works based on the sun, like the light levels and all of that. So
Okay.
even if you sleep very late,
Okay.
it might be difficult based on that, the nature for your body to adjust to that as well. So it's
Yeah.
always better to like sleep early and wake up accordingly. So
Okay.
yes, to an extent, science do support stating something like that, but I'm not very clear about that. So it's, and it basically suggests that there is something like sleeping early helps you be more fresh,
Okay.
and to get proper sleep, and
Yeah.
you manage your energy levels as well.
Hmm.
But I'm not exactly very specific about each and everything, but I have
Okay.
read about and learned about that earlier. So yeah,
Okay.
it's somewhat true.
What about your sleep routine like?
Mine is very different
Okay.
because I used to be a morning person. I still am, but
Okay.
because of my current schedules and the work and different things I handle, right now I have to be up. Like, I sleep late, I wake up late as well.
Okay.
Uh, and yeah, mostly I sleep around, minimum it will be 12:30 ish. Last night I
I think
slept
that
around
that's too
2
early for
o'clock.
me.
Okay, okay, that's cool. That's fine. Like,
We in the
still
boys'
like,
hostel, we don't get to sleep. Like everyone's
yeah,
just
yeah, I understand
playing
that.
around and
College
all.
times is like very
Yeah.
difficult to
Yeah.
sleep around at 10:30, 11 o'clock. I do
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm like, I sleep at least by 12:30
Okay.
max. It might go like, last night I slept around 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And it depends. Not every day is the same, but I
Hmm.
make sure that I sleep at least 7 hours every day,
Okay. Okay.
so to get enough rest for me. So
Okay.
that's how my sleep cycle is right now.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. And
Uh,
I can
hmm.
definitely say that it is not something that has been working good on me,
Okay.
frankly speaking.
Hmm.
I really want to change the cycle and sleep at least by, let's say, 11:30 ish,
Okay.
because I feel that the energy levels are really dropping down for me. Because even
Hmm.
if I'm doing work to like 12 o'clock to like 12 to 2 o'clock, I'm not my best self around that time, but I'm just making sure that I'm doing with the works that I want to do, and like
Okay.
whatever is necessary, I'm just taking care of that.
Yeah.
So yes, I would definitely love to sleep early and wake up early as well. So, but this is how my sleeping cycle is right now.
Okay. So as you are a relationship coach or a self-growth coach, so I would like to discuss a topic about like teenage relationships. Like, what's your perspective on
Mhm.
that? Like, is it right or is it wrong, or you just should not go for it?
No, there is nothing called as right or wrong. I strongly believe that uh, you should have an experience of being in a relationship in an early age, because during teenage relationships, what I've experienced is the thing is that, okay, I feel, okay, I felt that, okay, this is it.
Okay.
Okay, like this is the relationship that I want to take
Yeah.
on forever, and I want to
Hmm.
marry this person and something like that.
Okay.
But little did I know that, okay, that is not the case. I was wrong at that time.
Hmm.
And at the same time, because the way how I understood relationships or how I defined relationships was not
Hmm.
at all right. It took me years to explore that side and understand.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even like still now I'm exploring that from every person I interact to, or at
Okay.
every relationship I have, like whether it's with my parents, my friends,
Okay.
uh, like, my best friends, whoever it is. I'm still defining and understanding different aspects of relationship, and it is constantly changing every single time. And it is not, might not be the same, or it is not the same for everyone as well. Like
Okay.
depending on the context, different lives and everything, the definition and the way it is, it changes as well. But when it comes
Okay.
to the teenage relationship, the best thing I can say
Hmm.
is, you're still exploring the relationships. Don't think that this is it. If you
Okay.
get heartbroken, or you like you have a breakup phase or something, just
Yeah.
make sure that you understand that is not the end of the world. It is just the beginning of the world.
Yeah.
And it is just, you are understanding, you're learning about love and relationship. So
One thing I would
don't
like to
be,
add up, one thing I would like to
yeah.
add up, like don't consider infatuation as love. We are just attracted and like we consider it as love. And when the attraction gets over, we get bored and like we try to end it up.
Yeah. So
Mm.
understand your emotions, your feelings. I wouldn't also say that not all the relationships or all the attraction we feel are infatuation or something like that.
Okay.
There are differences, but again, that might also change into like
Hmm.
a deep love or something like that as well. So
Yeah.
first, try to understand. Don't rush into anything, any conclusions. Just take
Okay.
your time, understand people, understand the context, understand the actions than
Yeah.
the words, and try communicating in relationships better, whether it is your yes no's,
Hmm.
not knows, whatever it is.
Okay.
Just try to communicate that. So that is
Okay.
the thing that I have understood about the teenage relationships. I wouldn't also say that not all the relationships will end up wrong, no,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
most of the relationships uh, might go to an extent, and
Okay.
you can expect that to be over at some point of time. But
Okay.
rarely some of them even flourish as well.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
depends again. But
Hmm.
one thing I can say is, use your teenage to learn about relationships, whether it is friendships, the relationship with your
Okay.
parents, with your
Okay.
teachers, with yourself, your surrounding. Just learn about that better. It is the best time to understand and make mistakes. So
Okay.
that will ultimately give you experience about how you can change that in the future as well.
Okay.
So yeah, don't uh, just misunderstand everything into one thing. There are
Okay.
different sides of relationships. So try to
Okay.
explore all of that.
Okay.
Yeah, don't label anything. Just
Okay.
have a good experience with everyone
Okay.
and every relationship you have.
Another question from that, like how to move on from a breakup.
Ooh, okay.
Hmm.
That's a tough question,
Okay.
because it takes time. Like only the answer only for the only answer for that is time.
Okay.
Right. It hurts. It's painful. There is no one answer. For
Yeah.
some, it could be 6 months. For some, it could be 6 years.
Okay.
So it depends. The only answer is just a choice. Like
Okay.
moving on
Yeah.
is
How fast
basically,
you are willing to move up?
no, I wouldn't say even it's moving on. Like moving on from a breakup is more about sticking on with what you want.
Okay.
That is what I have known. Like
Okay.
you can't forget your past, you can't forget your present, you can't
Yeah.
forget a person, a
Yeah.
place, nothing. You just can choose, okay, what story you want to create with that person, that place, or whatever it is, or what
Okay.
experience that you want to remember. So only that
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
And the better you choose what things to hold on and what things you don't want to hold on,
Hmm.
the better you move on, as how we say, from a phase
Okay.
like breakup. Yeah.
Okay. So in your life, have you experienced like a massive breakup where like you were in like depression phase or like sad phase for many months or something?
Yes.
Okay.
I had like a teenage relationship
Okay.
while I was in like till I had a breakup in 12th standard, after 12th
Okay.
standard.
Okay.
And yeah, it took me around 3.5 years.
After 12th, where like mostly all the school relations end up.
Exactly. So that's
Yeah.
what like I'm saying, like, like don't think that, okay, like once you're done with like 12th grade or like you're in college,
Yeah.
mostly that is a phase where you'll see like, okay, you'll see a lot of people get interested in
Yeah.
you, or
We'll
like you
meet
are
many
interested in a lot of people.
temporary people, in other
Exactly.
words. Yeah.
So people come and goes. and you have to understand like how it is every relationship. You just have to understand and take a phase, and take your own time
Yeah.
and to define and to understand
Yeah.
your own definition of what
Okay.
love is, or like what it means to be in a relationship, or what you expect and what you don't expect. So those are the
Oh,
things, a few things, simple
okay.
things. Yeah.
So one more thing, like, what's your spiritual aspect right now?
I am spiritual and I am also religious.
Okay.
And I believe that everyone believes in something, and I
Mm.
do believe in spirituality. And
Okay.
my belief in my religion and spirituality is not something that someone have taught me. It is
Okay.
something that I have taught myself. For example,
Okay.
my definition of religion comes from my own practices, my own experiences, and
Okay.
there are some things that I believe in, and there are some things that I don't believe in as well. So in the
Okay.
same way, my spirituality is basically what makes me, and that comprises of all my beliefs and my human elements.
Okay.
So for me, ultimately, spirituality is being good for me and for others as well. This is exactly how I define spirituality and my
Okay.
religious beliefs as well. So
Okay.
yeah, I think
Mm.
we all do. Like, I think everyone does believe in something, even atheists,
Yeah.
or like believe in something. Some, like, even atheism is a belief. It's an ism, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think, like, everyone believes in something, and
Yeah.
I do believe in something apart from not believing something as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I would like to end that.
Okay.
Okay. So like, end note you wanna say, like, how's your experience being on the teen show, or any message for the
It's been
audience?
It's been amazing. Thank you so much for hosting me. I really loved the conversation. The questions you asked were like really good. And
Okay.
also, there are so many things that I think I would need to retrospect as well, and to
Okay.
maybe create some content around that.
Okay.
So, thank you so much for having me. And again, if I think most people, your audience might be in the teenage.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you are in a teenage, if you are in the college, just take your life simple, just enjoy,
Okay.
just have fun, and make sure that you're living this age, this time of years to the maximum, because only once you are done with this phase, you will understand that this is over.
Yeah.
So, and it is such a time that you will remember forever. You will make good friends, good
Mm.
people. So
Hmm.
some people will stay, but some people will, again, it'll go. But make
Yeah.
sure that you make
Hmm.
you give the best experience for others, and you
Yeah.
make the best experience for yourself as well. So have a great time. Just take life simply,
Okay.
not with too much seriousness. Have
Hmm.
fun
Hmm.
and define everything on your own. Don't take take inspiration from others, other people and all that, but don't take everything as others say. Even what I have said, filter out
Yeah.
and apply things that you think might be applicable into your life, and just put into your life and make it to an action. So define everything on
Okay.
your own, and
Okay.
start learning how the world works and how people works,
Yeah.
and yeah, build skills and all of that. So yeah, stick to the basics and build
Okay.
upon that. Yeah.
Okay. One more thing I'd like to add up, just subscribe to the teen show and the Mallu show on YouTube.
Cool. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Okay.
having me. Yeah. Take care.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Okay. Bye, sir.
Thank you.